aze ngiqeda umoya ke lesi simo ke salelo shedding. So I have to basically ngibeke la ngigcine khona ke bezalwane in order to understand ukuthi ke ngikhuluma ngani. I think kuzomela uyiqale ke video ke from the one before this one. Njengoba ngiyenza manje ke le. Sabhema kabusha uzange uqamandlazi masuse emoyeni kwento usuthi uyayiqhuba inkulumo mekwaba khona into nje ephazamisayo. Wena inwele zesintu kukuhluphe izincinza. Yeah, mekuba khona into nje ukuphazamisayo uvele ngathi ikhiphe emoyeni. Ngifana ngizama ukuqala phansi ngidonseke le nkulumo le kade ngithi angisanawo ngisho nalo mdladla lo kade ngifika nawo. Oh Nkosi kwanzima mhlaba ngakagoda. Ngisabhema ngiphinda ngiqhubeke la ngigcine khona. Ngikhule kugogo ekhaya uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje. Eya ngizokhule kugogo ekhaya uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje. Uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje. And then there was light. Bengizokhula kugogo ekhaya uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje. Uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje uyena wangenza ngaba nje. Makhosi siphinde sibuye. Uyena wangenza ngaba nje bengizokhula kugogo ekhaya uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo yini la
high chance usupposing
uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje wegogo uyena wangenza ngaba nje uyena wangenza ngaba nje yasinda uyena wangenza ngaba nje ngizokusakaza Makhosi kephi-ke la ngigcine khona yeah, so you're getting messages, Bazalwane. You're getting messages from Batabadala, you're getting messages from Emathongweni, you're getting messages from zedlozi. I'm now gonna just combine the two. Uyakhonjiswa ukuthi fanele uyowenza ukuthi uyakhonjiswa amanzi mhlambe uyakhonjiswa ukuthi fanele ulona wenza umsebenzi thizeni uyakhonjiswa ukuthi fanele uyokhuleka endaweni yokuthi uyakhonjiswa izinto but awuzenzi uhlala lado lokhu uphupha mhlawumbe ahuyo lokhu uphupha into ezodwa lokhu uphupha ulungisa lokhu uphupha uye emanzini lokhu uphupha umphatha izinto ezithile lokhu uphupha izinto nje but wena akho mnyakazo abantu ababuka bathi hayibo lo mntwana samnika umyalezo wathula hayi nabo bathula mhlawumbe nje 6 months you're getting the same dreams hayi bavele bathula u6 months nabo uphela unyaka baqale phansi futhi the following year bakukhombise the same things mhlawumbe even other things ke manje abasakukhombisi lokho kade bakukhombisa before sebakukhombisa izinyaka izinto manje hayi uphinde uthule wena uhlale uphinde uthule uhlale ungenzi thula wena uhleli wena wenzi baphinde bathule nabo hayi phinde futhi qale phansi the following year communication now it's other things it's never like the same things as the year before that you were seeing now you're seeing other things ke manje phela mhlawumbe 5 years ulokhu uhlale ube namaphupho hlale ube namaphupho then one day you wake up and you realize hey I haven't had a dream for a year hayi phinde unyaka wesibili you haven't had a dream lapha akakonakali lutho njalo manje sekuma indaba zamaphupho nje amile uthi hayi usaphuphi hayi ukuthi hayi
usayixwayisa ukuthi baso khona okuzayo
yeah lokho nje so bathule yabo you can still feel ukuthi hayi man kunabantu abangivungile but bathule nje abasho lutho hayi bathule okusukumeli lokho qale-ke masekonakala impilo yakho usubona uvaleke emalini ke because usually it's the first thing they cut bakhatha imali but uma bengayikhathanga imali ube nemali but awuyiboni hayi qhubeka kanjalo uyaba nemali wena uyasebenza uyahola imali awuyiboni awusakhona manje uma kade uhamba igroove awusakhona manje uhamba igroove ngendlela ngoba uvalekile mos awusakhoni ukulona ukuzikhipha ukuthenga ibhega nje awusakhoni wena ukuthi uthenge ngisho iKFC le Kentucky awusayazi usuyizwa ngephunga mo driver lapha uyizwa iwifi ngena ngewindi yabo thule manje Kentucky ukuthi uyizwe emlomeni andese uthengele umuntu awusayizwa wena Kentucky KFC 33 rand streetwise or 40 rand usayazi wena streetwise wena
chaza ke
cha bangichaza uthi streetwise umuntu asayazi streetwise angiphathi ke idebonezi ke sengikuda kakhulu ngoba udebonezi 100 rand
idebonezi manje ibudgetele
wena udebonezi nje subona ngebhokisi emzini yabantu osayazi wena idebonezi
hey wena ngelithi uyazi KFC umuzo odlula kuyona ekseni mhlawumbe emsebenzini abantu abasubuya iphela lapho besikwelisho
hey uzothi ayibayipheka ifresh abamasu uyithenga manje ungathola ibila yabo wena usayazi KFC usayazi idebonezi usuhlula ushwama ke manje 20 rand wakho ushwama ke hayi ke khohlwa ke usukude kakhulu makushwama sugcina amagwinya lapha yana erenkeni indlela kunzima ngayo yabo abantu abadala bathule, imali azikho, uyasebenza uyahola imali awuyiboni. Shayisa imoto-ke manje-ke usushodelwa imali-ke ukuthi ulungise-ke imoto kilimele.
Ukuthi akuyini ukuthi imoto awunamali mfethu. Uvela ukhansela i-insurance ngoba unaka ukuthi uvela uba nemali extra ukhansela i-insurance elokhuzana wemoto. The following week uvela uyishayisa imoto. Awusenamali kuyelokhuzana. Eyilento le i-access.
Hey bazalwane, ube nzima.
Ngoba mase ligila idlozi, mase lithi yazini uzokubone kahle-ke wena namhlanje. Noma kulonyaka lo uzokubone kahle. Izinto siqala kancane kancane. Siqala kancane kancane izinto ukuthi ziziveze ukuthi nazi-ke iy'nkinga ezizayo-ke manje. Kodwa futhi nazo lezo y'nkinga lezi ezizayo awuyisukumeli, awuyilungisi, awuhambi uyobuza ukuthi hayibo nakho sekuphele isikhathi esingaka ngithole kanzima mase kusuka sezimalini angisabi nezibonakaliso kwenzakalani. Zibe zanda iy'nkinga.
Sekuyima manje ubona ukuthi hayi angisukumi. Qala unilanteke kuhambe lezi zinto zesilungu. Angazi bangaka abantu befika la kumina bethi, "Oh, I first went to a medium." Ngibuke ngithi awu Jesu kodwa Thixo. Awu kodwa wena moya ongcoleke. Awu kodwa wena mvenqongela kwenzakalani? Umuntu angitshela ukuthi uphuma ama medium. Yabo. Athi oh no ngaya ku medium nani. Kodwa still umuntu usanenkinga. Yabo. Ngoba kulule ngigijimela into ezisilungu, ngigijimela into engazazi, nokuthi ngihlula lapha impepho yakini, uhlula impepho yasekhaya, uhlula umkhuleko owakhula ngawe ekhaya, usahlulile izinto ezibasic nje. Yabo. Ubona nje kuvalekile. Mhla uthi nje usuhlula ngisho ke imali egrosa ke manje usuhlula imali yokuthenga ukudla, usuyabona uchana kumshubu phezukwami. Yabo. Lahlela umsebenzi-ke sekuyimana-ke sengifika angazi bangaka abantu befika kumina and nginozwela bazalwane mina I'll charge what I charge but umuntu ngiyakwazi ukumcabangela ngithi umuntu amandla wekho it's fine mhlawumbe ngizokwenzela imali engako whatever like sengiyahlambuluka I do those things but kwabanye abantu vele ingenzeki because ulaka lithi waba nezimali yokuhamba uyokhokhela lezi zinto zesilungu uthi ufuna ukulungisa inkinga yakho endlela yesilungu inkinga adivela la ukuthi ilele kwisinto and now umthwalo osungaphezulu komlapho wakho ke orike laba abafike kumina osuphezulu kwami usu 100 times worse uyabo because now sekunomsebenzi ukuzama ukuthi ngikulungisele ukuthi ke at least makhanyeke ezimalini so that you can do what you need to do for them. 2, I need to help you connect with your people because you've ignored them for so long that make figure even I've had difficulty ukuhlola abantu because mind you mengisebenza idlozi lakithi but I need your ancestors to show up to allow me to see ukuthi inkinga yakho ithi 1 2 3 where sometimes fanele ngiguqela phana ukuthi kube ebhlungu amadolo ngilinde ukuthi idlozi likhuluma lithi idlozi abantu balomntwana nje badinwe bayafa yabo badinwe baganunwa nje ulaka lingaphezulu kwabhozo yabo because lo mntwana umbetho abantu abadala and bebekhuluma naye bebemnika amaphupho but they weren't doing things the right way. And wesika angiphathike laba ke that went to abalaphi bamanga and they spent hundreds of thousands. Like I once spoke about it ngathi mina I think the highest amount that I've had somebody come here and tell me they spent with a healer I think was close to $1 million. I think it was something boma 700 and something thousand that they spent kumlapi. Uyabo. And my question is, when you were spending that first 100,000 and there was no change, still washala, yabo, and because like the change doesn't have to be massive, but once you start doing things and if you do them in the correct order of umuntu umshwelezise and then umncingisa abadala bakubuthi mababuye kuyena mabasondele mabahlambululeke gezelana izandla type of a thing ukuthi kube ne acceptance yabo within each other, because it's a partnership. It's you partnering with your ancestors in order for your life to go accordingly to what it used to be, right? Umsebenzi usuyasinda uney'chitho lapho ngoba abantu abadala bakulahla bakudedela ukuthi ushawe nayiy'chitho uyabo ukuthi iy'chitho, so manje fanele silungise naley'chitho ushawe ngazo, lo mvaleko ofakwe wona, le ncindezi ukuthi iy'nto zakho yibopheleke, lamafindo aboshiwe phezu kwempilo yakho. Now you have to fix all those things uyabo, because abayiwoyi, no matter what you're doing, bathele babuka, because bafuna ukubona ukuthi uzoze ufikelепhi uvume. Because even inhliziyo, it's not just about, I always say, when you're doing these things and you're fixing problems that are 10 years old or 15 years old or 5 years old or even 2 years old, you need to give yourself time. Uvule inhliziyo ukuthi okay, whatever's going to happen now is going to happen, and you're not going to demand of them ukuthi. But if your problems or angisho ukuthi ibusiso zakho, you are making 200,000 rand a month and now you're only making 50,000, ukuthi to think ukuthi ngoba nakho usuyalahla ukuthi you're gonna go back to making that 200,000. Your ancestors are gonna make you work hard futhi ngenhliziyo egezekile evulekile ukuthi whatever happens in their own time, bazobuyisa into zakho, bazobuyisa ibusiso zakho, bazoyibuyisa inhlanhla zakho, bazobuyisa imali, yabo. So you might end up going from 50 and to 60,000. Mhlawumbe sengiyo 10,000 yabo, but lo mahluko omncane ubonga ukuthi hayi kona kusafani ke khosebe edile ku 10,000. Yabo. Now I'm at 60,000. If you're working on zero and think you're going to go to 50,000, if they've taken everything away, they took it away for a reason. So now we have to work towards at least but you're going to work towards that. It's not something you're going to demand. In that week or in that month or those 2 months, all of a sudden, no, it doesn't work like that. Because you have left your problems ukuthi kube ezinye phezu kwezinye ethi naxa omunye phezu omunye phezu kwemunye kodwa inkingeni uyabo einkingeni. So now the problems are there, so you have to fix them accordingly nenhliziyo evulelekile, because you ignored all those messages. Because even at the level of dreaming, I was dreaming every day. Now you only dream once a month. You caused that problem. I didn't cause that problem. You caused that by ignoring them when they were coming to you every day. But there's always that one elder, that one ancestor, ongafuni lutho ngawe, ozokuhlangabeza in whatever that they are doing, or angisho in whatever that you are doing for them, ozozama ukuthi to help you through it, ancingise nakwabanye ukuthi hayisondela nangumntwana sizama. Uyayibona lento le. But it's up to you to be able to fight for that. And the first point in doing that is that, I don't know why I'm noticing what's right now. I don't know why I'm doing that, but you don't see it. It's on a long seven. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you're the person that has to bridge that gap on their behalf, so that and so the connection, you have to fight for it, even though sometimes you talk about ziba still, I always I put you on like a regime, a regime. Isingisi sifuna ukubaleka kuthiwa isingisi asikhulunywe ebusuku. But I put you on like a almost like a timetable or like a schedule ukuthi okay, lalela ke uzophahla 4 days a week, mophahla uzophahla before you go to bed and 3 o'clock in the morning. And then the other 3 days uzothi before you go to bed, then midnight, then 3 in the morning. Or sometimes we'll tell you that 1 day a week it's gonna be before you go to bed, midnight and 3 in the morning. because you want to try and connect with whoever's gonna come or whoever onyakazayo at a certain time. You have to fight now for that connection because you the one that cut yourself off from your ancestors. So manje fanele silwele ukuthi leya alignment or loko kuhlangana lokho kade kukwembethe ukuthi ukwazi ukuthi kuphinde kukwembathe at the level abekukwembathe ngayo. But lento ukuthi when you guys are receiving messages nina bogogo nomkhulu nina makhehla nezalukwazi nithola ama message from your ancestors and inwazibe for years and then masesekonakala empilweni zenu kuyima nicabanga ukuthi okay now I'm going to go to a healer and try and fix all my problems uyabo
and
kuzoba right at the same time and
yeah lento uncenga abantu abadala ifana nokuncenga intombi ade uyonile yabo intombi oyithandayo and then kade uyonile like thatha isikhathi thatha isineke.
I don't see you do that for me. Mina uncenga kanje ukungone nje ungancengi. What are you talking about? Uthi fane nentombi oyithandayo ukuthi uyayincenga kuthatha isikhathi kuthatha isineke seloso sineke bekufanele awuncengi wena uvela uyibukela ulinda ukuthi ngibe right uncenga nini
ngeke uzibone phela ukuthi
Shabela wayigoqa abantu bingadlali ushayela akancengi uyasho nje ulinganisa into wrong methi ekufana nokuthi uncenga intombi oyithandayo
uncenga ngendlela engabonakala ukuthi indlela okuncenga
inganekwane endala vele athi nje ayathanda ungiqolisa amacala athi siqabana manje before sizilapha athi sixabana uncenga nini vele athi hayi suqalile ungiqolisa amacala bese zosho lento ana live bazalwane hayi noma kuthiwa besikhuluma into abentoda nathi sidinga i-counseling ayikho phela lento nanke dlala ngani ana live hayi mina mlomo ngakhuluma imanga Ngithini lela culo elami idlozi namanyala ke nishayeleni za elami idlozi namanyala Ngizomthengela iKFC Bazalwane free advice Washela umuntu angikhulumeke ngabantu besifazane ke women to women. Washela umuntu akashabalala. Baleka ngeenyawo zombili ngoba wow and laba abahlezi bengena la on YouTube bathi awusqueeze nani you just as bad but wesilisa mena shela intombazane yathi akashabalala baleka ngeenyawo zombili abantu bayashabalala abana luphotho abana manga and baba namanga ngenhliziyo soft ngemoya soft ungazi nawe ulutheke it's live looting leyana ningayivumi bazalwane ngancameni isukala intombi zangamakhanye noma iqhaqhaza kodwa at least uyazi ukuthi what you see is what you get uyawa umuntu akashabalala hayi bazalwane ngifuna ukudlala ngani but asikho lapho last khona nje ukuthi uzoncenga uzothoba uzoguqa amadollar abebuhlungu uncenga ithobo lakini ukuthi makusondele ngoba wonile befika bekhuluma nawe ubaziba that's just what it is yabo okunye nokunye vele kuyalungiseka ngendlela that's why I always say ukuthi uma ulungisa inkinga akufani nomuntu that recently started having problems and when I say recently started having problems I mean ukuthi behamba kahle doing the right things and then mhlawumbe kwaqala ke konakala ke ngenxa yokuthi kuyagangwa abantu bayabasebenza whatever else uyayibona lento le that's what I mean by recently starting problems lo muntu le into zakhe mhlawumbe 6 months nje kuyobe se right nina enihlalo 5 years 10 years I know from experience bazalwane mhlawumbe ngiphinde nginikhumbuzisa udaba lami 14-15 years I'm not even going to go back to when I was 7 idlozi ke selivuka ke seliveza inkinga zami but into aso ke nje inkinga zami ekhombisa into aso 14-15 years mina into aso isivela ukuthi okay fine ngiyothwasa Ngangayokuyothwasa ngiphupha stereke, ngiphupha like out of control. Izibonakaliso zami clear as day. Yonke into nje icacile. Ngahlala ngangathwasa ke, but that was on my mom, yabo. Because nobaba wayesho ukuthi no, God rest the soul, but ubaba wayesho ukuthi hayi and when I say God rest the soul, for those that don't know, ubaba washona, usanda nokushona manje December, but ubaba esho ukuthi hayi lamaphupho aveza intwaso umatha inyongo, yabo. So ngahlala ngingathwasa nengasebenza ke and so forth ke ngenza imali ngahlala ngathwasa amaphupho aphinda abuya. Then there was imali ke ngathi kunamagundane endlini ukudla kuphela no mengaphelanga kuvele kubole or kanye uthola ukuthi like swele ngisho imali yokuthenga i-rice, uswele imali yokuthenga yabo igrosa nje ukudla endlini ayikho leyo mali. Swele imali yokuthenga ithini lengane, swele imali yamanapukeni, things like that. Left it for years. Then after that from ukungivala ke emalini, mind you imali sangena but imali angiyiboni. Then it went to me being sick. Ngagula a few years. It was only a few, mhlawumbe boma 2-3 years ngigula. Ngaze ngabuya ekhaya ngayohlala ekhaya, yabo. Ngaze ngayohlala ekhaya.
That's right.
Ngaze ngayohlala ekhaya, yabo. Then from then ke sengihleli ke ekhaya ke ngagula, and then I woke up one day right. Mind you, even then still ngangalungisa, yabo. Ngaze ngasizwa umlungu who was my client. She was my client. Or angishoni, she was the wife of my client. She was the wife of my client, and wangithola ukuxoxa ke naye ke wangitshela ukuthi no, she has these friends that were going through certain things, and lawo bangani bakhe ke uzongixhumanisa nabo so that ngaxoxa nabo mhlawumbe ibona ke abazokwazi ukungienlighten, because based on the things I'm saying, she thinks my problems don't need Western assistance. She thinks I don't need to go to a specialist or any of those things. She thinks that I should go to a healer. Wangixhumanisa ke nabangani ke labo ke bakhe ke, and sazwana ke bese ngixoxela kudabo labo ngengabaxoxela kolwami, and then they're like, okay, listen, month end we're going to a healer. Sizokukhokhela ngoba umuntu wayibusisiwe basho ukuthi no bazongikhokhela for my consultation, and nemithi ke ngizoyithola lapho, they'll pay for everything. Ngibona ukuthi kuyangisiza yini, uyabo. So they offered to pay for everything. Nangempela yaphela inyanga sahamba ke saya lapho. Mesiya lapho, it was umlaphi wase Swazini, right? Wase Swazini, and ubesebenza ngewash. Wangihlola kumuntu meqeda kungihlola ke, it was one of those old people abahlola ngesibuko, yabo. Hayi wangihlola ke ngesibuko, kwangihlola kwangitshela and everything abengitshela yena bengiyazi, yabo. Wayesongitshela ukuthi no, abantu bami bafuna ukusebenza and they want ukusebenza manje, yabo. And I'm like, oh, okay, no, that's fine. Because vele I'd always find myself in situations where people were coming to me to consult. And not consult like like to get guidance on the problems they have, like things that are happening, whether it be in their marriages or in their families, whatever. That's okay, I can see it, because ever since I was a child, ngangumuntu owayehlala kakhulu namakhehla nezalukwazi, and uthola ukuthi baxoxa izinto that were way beyond my age phambi kwami, and whenever I'd give my opinion, they'd be like, hey, yabo, like iy'nkulumo zakho, how old are you again? And I'd be like, no, I'm 10 or whatever. And then they're like, oh, ukhusha ukuthi nje usho ukuthi awumbethwe yabo. They make jokes like that and I never understood. But anyway ke so ngalona ke lo mlaphi ngayisenzisa ke washo zakhe zasiza la isiza khona. But umoya wami, based on something that lo mlaphi had said that they're gonna do for me, umoya wami wathi no, asifuni thina leya nto leyana lezoyenza. But zangisiza iwasho zakhe yabo, zangisiza and shame, they helped me a lot. And then but my ancestors are like, no, we don't need that, we're looking for something else. And then they showed me what they're looking for. So then the same friends of my clients, but we're going to another healer, do you want to come with us again? And they said they're going to pay again. That's why because I had a client, so I didn't even have money to spare to go for even a consultation. And so izlozi, I think Lalela the journey up until ngithwasa, they are gonna walk it with me, because I go for a consultation. The second healer that I went to, Ngahamanabo, they paid for my consultation, paid for imiti, and then this time I was using both imiti neiwasho, so he gave me both imithi neiwasho ngayisebenzisa nazo zangisiza nezinto atengihlole zona ngangizazi vele nalapho, and nayo wahlola other elements that I was aware of, but I didn't know ukuthi kanti njengoba dinginale yankinga it was stemming from this. But when he said it, I was like, that makes sense, because 1, 2 and 3 had happened. That shows ukuthi lento ngitshela yona iyo sharp. Wangisiza ke lo baba ke beqeda ungisiza ke, and he said ukuthi ke this is where it gets shady. I said lo baba, I know Lalela, njengoba unentwaso, you don't have to twasa, ngizongisa kumlungu bazalwane ubane imkhuba yabalaphi, wathi uzongisa kumlungu eHillcrest. Hillcrest is in KZN, and Hillcrest is a suburb like for the rich. Abelungu abahlala or abantu abahlala eHillcrest banemali, because yabiza imizi lapha. Hillcrest is like umhlanga, it's like same WhatsApp group. So what uzongisa kumlungu lapha ozovala idlozi bese ke ngisebenza ngesithungu. Ngathi hayi okay, ngajabula ke mina ke, because I'm like, at least I'm not gonna have to go through this thing engisabayo, because the last time I had seen and heard anything about izangoma was when I saw this video when I was like 7 years old, and it was on SABC. Iveza intwaso ukuthi ihamba kanjani, and it scared the shit out of me. That's like no angifuni vele ukuthwasa, so if bezovala idlozi I'm happy to do that. Wabook dates esohamba ngayo ke angiyise kulomlungu ozovala idlozi lami. Mengintshela bazalwane ukuthi the minute ngafika ekhaya ngaxoxela uma wathi hayi kungcono ke mebezolivala idlozi, because vele idlozi into zakhona it's a bit much and kuyabiza ukuthwasa and all of that, it's expensive, kuzodinga imbuzi, kuzodinga inkomo and all these things, and ayikho imali yazo yabo, especially because I was going through such heavy financial problems. Ngalala ebusuku alingishaya kanje idlozi lithi uzoyaphi uyowenzani, that's not happening. Umoya wami wangavuma, but ngahamba ke ngayo kulo baba ke ngithi ngizomchazela ukuthi I can no longer do this, ngengikwazi ukuvala idlozi. Sengingena kulo baba, before I even said anything, lo baba wathi ngeke ngisakuyise kulo muntu. Ngathi hayi ngeke shosho uthi lamshaya lafike kuyena idlozi lakithi ebusuku, lathi ungacabanga ukuthi umntwana wethu uzomenzisa lo wamkhulu. So then wayesangikhomba ke kunkosikazi wakhe, who became my first gobela. And you guys know my story, laba they know my story ukuthi why ngithwase kabili. Because ngathwasa ke kena ke wangenzela kahle ke igobongo ke, ngathwasa kahle ke emxakweni, but zaqala zashuba izinto ebazenzeka, but asikho lapho, it's not the point of the story. Ngenza ke Then when I decided to leave, ngakhuluma futhi nalogobela ke ngamchazela ngathi hayi singaye ukuthwasa umoya wami awusavumi nani ngacela ukuhamba yabo ngakhuluma kahle naye she understood what's okay yabo uyazi yena ungisebenzile but again asikho la because we had booked everything for my final going home ceremony. So this was like, I think, probably like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before finally graduated completely from Umgoma, Makhosi. Like 3 weeks before I was supposed to think. Everything was booked. I had bought things. But what one amaphupho imithi ebengidla bibola, it was a mess. Ngathi nje yabola abantu abadala bami ngisho uma sengithethise you started the process in like you're almost done, like just complete. Ungawarisheki ukuthi inkambe ziyabola, ungawarisheki ukuthi ngivula imithi yami mina kuphuma izilwane phakathi and all of that. Then what happens? Literally when ngalwa noma ngathi angisaqhubeki because umoya wami keeps telling me ukuthi I can't continue with this. What did izidlozi do for me? These same people that have been helping me through my journey of ukuhlola, because journey into us, so they didn't. Yeah, skipper. Hayi phela leyo kulandwa ke ngizoyikhuluma mhlawumbe ekugcineni angiqede lokhu nje lokho kulandwa because lokho kulandwa happened ngiqede igobongo.
Oh.
Yeah, I had just graduated from Igobongo. I think my graduation was on the Saturday for Igobongo, and then on the Monday, but bazongilanda. Yeah. So umshubulapo, but leso story ngizospinning. Noma ngisisho ngivele ngisichaze as part of it. Okay, so let me ngizosikhuluma nje towards the end. But anyway, so I had given myself whatever happens. I don't have to be making the same money I was making before. I don't have to be at the same level I was financially before, as long as angisaguli, as long as the problems that have been weighing on me and the things that are happening to me, they're not gonna go on to my children. Because at this point, as long as those things are gonna happen, it's fine. The day the Monday, yeah, it was the Monday. I think Potuli Kobongo, Wangena Ikoli, somebody, a client said, Utoli number I'm on the internet, like from the internet, they read I provide these and these services. So what Ufuna Sebene meeting the following day, because Ufuna Umi Hairisha for my services. Yabo. Oh, yes, that's another thing. Yes. So Leo number Leo that I had on my profile online was not the one I was using. The number that was on my profile was a number I hadn't used in like 5 years, and being a Sasebens Leo number, but somehow my new number was the one they called. So I call to my new number, but in number be corner on my Facebook page Futi, because I no longer had money to have a website anymore. So on my Facebook page, then they say phone to my new number. Lengi say even no kwamanje le 081. So yeah, the number yam 0815484108. Low number, the one that I currently use was the number that I was using then, and the number that the guy had called wasn't my new number. It shows up in every way. Hi, sharp. I get this client. We meet on the Tuesday. We sign the contracts. Because I feel very prepared with my contracts and all those things. And I had that client ngaze ngaqeda ukuthwasa imali zayo like yayingifakela imali weekly kwakhona imali ezayingena weekly and then kwakhona imali eyisamba engena monthly from that one client. And then I ended up getting other clients, but they were my biggest clients, right? Because the company was an CG company. Company, I understand it's an FMCG company. What kind of company I'm talking about? Big company food, right? So from Lapo, Gakobela 1. I get a call a few days, ne? Angithi ngathi ngayeka 3 weeks before fanele ngiphothule intwaso yami. So 3 weeks before, so on the first week ngingasayi kaGobela. Ngafonelwa the friends laba babengihambisa ukuhlola nokulashwa labo, those friends. They call me, they're like, listen, we just came from a healer kanje yabo, and I usizile ngokuthi and unamathwasa amaningi egcekeni ngathi unamanga. What I know, unamathwasa njena nani do you want to go yini? Ngathi mina yazini ngithumelela inamba, wanna go. Bangihambisa lapho, they dropped me off and ngakhona ukuthi ke obviously ngizibuyela, I just Ubered back. Ngahlola ke kulo Gobela ke loyo umoya wami wathi I know uright lo uzokhona ukuthi angezise lezi zinto engiyidingayo. And then I never told her though ukuthi njengoba ngihlola lezi zinto and all the things she's saying ukuthi mina ngiphothula igobongo like that week ngiphothulile ngalandwa yabo. Yeah, I didn't tell her those things because ngangasathembi lutho manje, because I didn't want ukuthi mekuthi yena akangiboni to be a certain type of spirit or akangiboneleli what I'm being called to do, then angishiye kanjalo ngithule. And then she tells me ukuthi, oh okay, by the way, why ungabasebenzi abantu? And then I proceed to explain ukuthi no, bengazi ukuthi mina umuntu meyithwasa uyakhona ukuthi alapha abantu uyabo. Wayesesho wena ukuthi no, ungaliflatheli idlozi like that because uxosha inhlanhla zakho. Balapha abantu because ngiyabona ukuthi hayi impela uphiwa ukulapha uyabo. And abantu babefika vele the time nje mina ngidla igobongo mina ngiyalapha vele uyabo. But the only thing I had limited myself to doing was ukuhlola. It wasn't the other things. Yabo, I didn't know I was allowed to do the other things of literally umuntu mengimlapha, the whole process of healing somebody. I didn't know I could do that. Yabo, because phela more under isandla somunye umuntu, you don't know, you follow umthetho wempande. Yabo, regardless of whether it's what you think is right or not. You follow what you are directed to do because you're under isandla somuntu. But ikwangikhulula ke lo Gobela loyo washo athi no, qhubeka nolapha abantu mekuthi ubahlola, that's great, but do the whole process, everything that they show you that you need to do it. I was doing it, whatever else lo Gobela, but the people, Idlozi made sure to put people in my space that were going to help me to be able to have access to the situations I needed to be in. Uyabo? Nendlela zokusizakala, because I was just a black white girl wayengasilutho ngomngomo ngasilutho ngeinto zamasiko nanani, and I didn't know ukuthi what this world entailed. Every decision I took was based on umoya wami. But the one thing was, once amehla mavuleleka to the fact that I am connected ancestrally to abantu abangasekho, yabo, not just by the bloodline, but by the mere fact that I'm called, I allowed myself to follow each and every directive ebebefika nayo. So inhlanhla zami zavuleka accordingly. into efikisha abantu ukuthi they get that message, they get that directive. Ngaba the strength, even though I didn't know anything, I had the strength to know ukuthi I shouldn't be at a particular place and I leave. Uyabo. Nina nifike nitshela ukuthi don't be here, don't do that, and you do it still. Uyayizwa lento le. That's why I always say I don't have the ego of saying ukuthi, let's say I've never had this situation happen, but if it were to ever happen, if somebody's ngimnike umuthi, for example, ngimnike umuthi athi umuntu no abadala bami bathi I must add umuthi othile to lo muthi onginike wona, or abadala bami bathi it's not the time for me to use this muthi yet. I don't have a problem in saying listen to your ancestors first, because I am not your ancestor. I am your guide. I'm the person that is guiding you through this process. I'm the person that is trying to bridge that gap between wena namathonga kini, so that you guys can be at a place where you need to be. Uyabo. Because whatever that you're doing, you're not doing it for me as your healer, you are doing it for them. So imthetho ngingangidlalela imthetho, but because khona umunye umuntu angasho ukuthi hayi ungawudla ufish, but yena idlozi lakubo lithi no thina sudla ufish. So now are you going to eat ufish just because I said you can, when your ancestors saying no you shouldn't? Uyabo. It doesn't work like that. Fundani ukulalela abantu benu so that inhlanhla zenu zizokhona ukuthi iqaqeke ngendlela. But lento ukuthi you walk blindly into a situation, and once your ancestors are able to communicate to you to say no, listen, utilize our sites in order for this and this and this to happen, and you ignore. You're trying to please everybody. You're trying to please me. You're trying to please abantu basesontweni. You're trying to please your community, you're trying to please your family. At the end of the day, masusenkingeni uwedwa kuleyo nkinga. Masusushawa wedwa. Anshawa nonke. Uyayibona leyo nto leyo. Because you're the one that's committing the crime of not listening. You're the one that is committing the offense of ignoring your ancestors. Uba wedwa nkingeni. So you need to commit wholeheartedly to doing what you need to do. And I'm not saying these things so that because you don't feel like doing something, say, oh, my ancestor said I mustn't do it. And I've been in that situation would say I don't like something, but I force myself would say whether I like it or not, if it's gonna help me, I'm gonna do it.
yenze ngalo mali okugcina leyo, because ukuzinikela kwakho nalo sacrifice leyo okay angathi i-sacrifice ngoba manje
abantu banemkhuba bacanga into eziningi
abacabanga izinto ezirong, kodwa ke ukunikela kwakho kubantu abadala ngalo ndlela leyo, ngalokho okugcina wena nabo izinto abazozibusela kuwena bazoziphinda yabo izibusiso ozosithola.
Because you mustn't also go into a situation saying, oh, because I'm doing this, you must give me that. If you go into a situation uthi hayi ngisebenzisa imali yokugcina, I make sure ukuthi ngiyayiphinda-phindelela imali mase niyibuyise kumina, ngene izimbusiseke. If you go into the situation trying to fix your into zakho by saying that you're going in to fix for yourself and not for them, ngeke uze kulunge. The commitment that's needed is to say, like even when you're speaking to God, whatever ozokwenza kumina ngizokwamkela, kodwa ngiyacela ukuthi mawukhanyisa phela ungangihluphekisi to the point where angisakhona ngisho ukusuza.
Ziyabiza izinto zedlozi.
Ziyabiza izinto zedlozi. We can't run away from that. Ziyabiza siyazazi, ziyasinda siyazazi. You know, we know all of that. But at the end of the day, you have to do everything edlozi wholeheartedly. And just because ugilegile by somebody screwed you over spiritually doesn't mean ukuthi manje ke yabo, doesn't mean manje ukuthi when you come to me you come with the inhliziyo ukuthi but I've already tried this and it didn't work. Usushaye wena ke manje, because you didn't come to me leaving your baggage behind. You came with your baggage and you expect me to perform miracles. It doesn't work like that. njengoba ngichazele ngagilwa mina ukugobela oqala wangila igodo futhi el-serious uyabo to the point where my graduation should have resulted in my death. Right, ngigilo on my first gobela. I didn't go with that baggage to my second gobela. I didn't. Ngafika nenhliziyo egezekile emsulwa ngibhlungu. Yes, I was hurt that I can't believe I trusted somebody with my soul at that level, and this is what they did to me and what they are doing to me. I made sure I go in there and wait for somebody to make their own mistakes. So ugobela wami wesibili, my problems with her will always be my problems with her for what she did, not my problems with her based on what my first gobela did. Because even the things they did to me were very different. And I'll never play with my second gobela and say, there's some kind of witchcraft she did. She never did any witchcraft. I don't even know her for doing any witchcraft on anybody. She was somebody in jail that she didn't move like that. But kunezinye inkinga that she did that ebezidala ukuthi zizongcindezela. To make an example, I needed ukuphakamisa isithunywa sami and she refused to help me with it.
Other people hadn't done this.
Yeah, because her other favorite children hadn't done the process. They didn't have imali to do it. So wangangenzela mina wangibalela indaba ukuthi Makhosi ubani hasn't done it, Makhosi ubani hasn't done it, Makhosi ubani hasn't done it. Once they do it, then I'll do it for you. Idlozi lami lathi unamanga langenzisa lona self-figure, because I was in that ability to do that due to the fact that vele bebengangikhombisa ngugobela, vele bebengasho ukuthi angami ngiyothwasa umuntu, imina engazicelela self to do that. So into yesithunywa bakwazi ukuthi bangenzise yona, and then once my ancestors had done the process yesithunywa, then the little that I needed that she didn't know I needed, ngakwazi ukuthi ngiyifeze esontweni. And by doing that, so she didn't understand by the mere fact to have days where for example, make figure on a Sunday after we were finished with church, no shouldering with izidlozi, kuhlola ngesithunga. She didn't know that was helping me. That was iyasiza ukuthi siphakeleke isithunywa sami siqaqeke even further. Lento ukulokhu engihambisa emanzini, because shame hayi ngabe ngidlala ngayo ugobs. Number 2, why ngihise emanzini. There's every single body of water waye ngifaka gqi phakathi uyabo ngangena phakathi, even though she wasn't the one doing it for me, wayitshela amanye amathwasa akhe to do it ukuthi angifake, but ngangiya. So nalokho kwangisiza isithonyweni, kwangisiza nasedlozini, and so forth and so forth. So kuningi nje bazalwane, kuningi uyabo. But when you don't allow the messages that come through, the first step of listening to messages, trying to find understanding, because not sonke siphiwe the ability to understand dreams uyabo. I thank God every day yabo. I thank God, I thank ithunywa zami ukuthi at least they gave me the ability to interpret dreams. Not every healer has that ability to interpret dreams. So that ability for me has helped me even at Losi, because all my dreams are interpreted via isithunga. I can't interpret them get Losi. I've never tried. I've tried, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it's not make sure.
It's not make sure. Mengithi ngizama ukuhlaziya iphupho ngedlozi.
No, ngitho khulisa ngisebusuku.
Yeah, very much yabona nje. And I went to a white school. I went to a Model C school. Ek praat net 'n bietjie Afrikaans. My Afrikaans so swak, maar ek praat net 'n bietjie.
Ek toe, Shabalala ek praat.
Ai, Shabalala ek praat.
Shabalala is baie praat. Jy nie in die kombuis nie.
What?
Jy verstaan?
Jy praat kak. Kak. you know, I speak sign language, you know. So umuntu odefu, if I needed to ukuthi ngikwazi ukuthi ngikhulume yabo in sign language, I can, to demonstrate um 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 so khulena belungu, this is what I do.
lokusayina asitshele abantu bazalwane.
Umuntu ofuna ukusayina nami, we can speak in sign language, anginankinga. So I can do that. So my background in itself, yabo, because ngiyazi ukuthi uma isebenza umlungu, ngikhule nengane defu, ingane lapho kulowo mlungu umzukulu wakhona waye defu, so sakhule esikhuluma i-sign language ne-English, and mina ke obviously I also used to speak a bit of Afrikaans. Obviously, over years, into mungayikhulumi iyakhona ukuthi iphashe iyabaleka kancane, but mekuthi ngahlala nomuntu sivuselele nje sikhulume Afrikaans ons met praat in Afrikaans, like it's fine. You know, sikwazi ukuthi ezinye izinto sizenze, then it's okay. But you learn, bazalwane, you learn ukuthi ngisho ungazazi ukuthi ubani, khona into elokhu ikudonsa emhlabeni kaNkulunkulu, ekudonsa esimeni sethongo ukuthi lento ikuwe, noma kuthiwa isilungu sizama ukuthi siyikhiphe siyibalekisa, but lento ikhona kuwe. And when you surround yourself with people that are within that spirit, or abantu abanemoya, uyabo, ulokhu uyivuselela lento ilokhu iziveza ukuthi no man, ungangikhohle ukuthi wena you are the child of the soil, wena you umntwana omnguni, wena Makhosi, yabo, ukuthi this is who you are, yabo. Your soul calls to you, your spirit calls to you, yabo. But menzobe looking balega and then think ukuthi black problems, white solutions, that's not gonna happen, yabo.
Nizoba nenkinga manje lokuthi hayi ngizobe ngenze, hayi ngizobe ngenze, hayi ngizobe ngenze,
ayikho uzobe ngenze,
hayi ngizobe ngibona, hayi ngizobe ngibona. Mhlazi sezifica ke inkinga zakho zonke lezo buthe hayi ngizobe ngenze. Kunesikhathi empilweni la
ashaka uzohlala ukukhuluma, ngiyabuya manje
ezokulinda khona lezo inkinga lezo.
bazalwane.
Kata kwenza phambi kwenu. Kodwa into befuna ukuchaza la esikhuluma phekwayo ukuthi mawuzolokhu ukuthi inkinga zakho noma izinto otshengiswa zona nezinto eziyibonakaliso ezivelayo, mawuzolokhu ukuthi ayizobe ngenze, hayi ngizobe ngenze, ayilokho idinga imali ukuthi iphelele ngizobe ngenze, anginayo imali kwamanje, hayi ngizobe ngenze. Inkinga zakho ziyaqoqana zonke, ngathi zatshelana futhi ukuthi azini asimnike umntwana wethu thina asambeni set 2030, so besimlinde khona uzosifica khona ku-2030. Masuzifica wena lezo inkinga lezo zonke kuma ngathi zikuhlasela kanye kanye, yabo. Usubona ke mhlawumbe ulahlekelwa umsebenzi noma uzodimotha kumsebenzi, mhlawumbe isikhundleni siyaphela, uba ney'nkinga zemali, mawuthi unomendo kuyabheda, yabona. Iziningi izinto ezenzakalayo ngesikhathi esisodwa ezenza ukuthi kube khona isisindo phezu kwakho, yabo. Lezo inkinga lezo ziyadalela ukuthi uyithole futhi usukwindlela errong, yabo. Uthi uyithole ukuthi mosufika kumuntu usuyohlola abona inkinga zakho, angakuhlolisi ukuhlola, avela athi hayi wena le inkinga zakho lezi zikhomba into yazo, yabo engakuchazeli kahle ukuthi inkinga yakho iqala kephi iphela kephi idalwe yini yabo nokuthi-ke isisombululo salezo y'nkinga lezo ukuthi nakho okumele ngabe yakwenza noma nayi indlela ekumele ngabe sayithatha noma nazi iy'nhlambuluko noma nazi iy'washo noma imithi ongayisebenzisa okuzoba iy'nsebenzo zakho ozokwazi ukuthi nawe lezi y'nkinga lezi siy'xegise noma lezi y'nkinga lezo onazo noma iy'ngqinamba lezo osubhekene nazo manje empilweni sizithambise sizame ukuthi abantu abadala siphinde sibasondeze sizame ukuthi abantu abadala sibathambise iy'nhliziyo zabo noma ngale ndlela abafase ngayo ngaphezulu impilo yakho ukuthi beqedise kancane kancane yabo kunabantu abangayenzi lonto leyo kunabantu abayilalelayo iy'nkinga zakho befike beyilalele and then mase beqeda ukuyilalela engqondweni yabo vele kuduma imali nje yabo ukuthi hayi yabo la ngizodla la hayi ngizovele ngithi unentwaso hayi kumele uthwase iy'nkinga zakho wena uzoncedwa intwaso yabo uthole usungena kanjalo-ke kwindlela kwindlela yomoya ebekade ngingahlangene nawo. Ingakho-ke abantu abaningi bey'thole ukuthi sekuphele mhlampe 2 noma 3 years bethwasa noma sebethwasile baqeda kodwa abasaboni into abayithwasele noma into abayithwaselile abayizwa nhlobo yabona bahleli nje ephehlweni baphehla bakwenza konke bashisa iy'mpepha bakwenza kodwa manje abazi like abazi abezwa lento abayishisela impepho abayizwa lento abayiphahlelayo iy'nkambi lezi abayishayela zona yabo izona zonke iy'nkinga lezo oyidalele wena ngokuthi uzibe iy'bonakaliso uzibe amaphupho uzibe iy'xwayiso ngenxa y'nkinga nje ey'ncane lezi kade zivela wangafuni ukuthi uzinake ngaleso sikhathi leso ezivele ngazo wayiyeka zaze zambundelana kancane kancane lokho zithi nje kuze kufika lapho khona ukuthi okay ayisekho indawo leyo hlala khona manje lezi inkinga zakho lezi sezakunetha-ke manje yabo iy'nkinga ziqhamuka kanjena-ke iy'nkinga-ke uthole ukuthi-ke usuhleli nenkinga manje esengaphezu kwamandla ngoba usu-ede nentwaso obukade ungenayo phezu kwey'nkinga vele kade unazo uyabona so kuzomele niyiqaphele indlela oprioritize ngayo noma indlela odecide ngayo ukuthi yini ebalulekile okumele ngabe yayenza empilweni nokuthi yini okuyinto ephuthumayo ekumele ngabe yinaka esimeni samathongo. Ngisho ngabaleka mina kodwa-ke ngoba awubona ngana ngishaya lezi zinto lezi
Two. Nonsense. Bazalwane lesi.
Ngomama kamera mhlawumbe
Nansi.
phansi komthwalo.
Hey bazalwane. Hayi angifuni ukuhamba ngamanga. Angisha ngekokorosheni zayo. Okuyisama nje hayi sowabona ngamandla. But yes, kufanele yazi nalabantu abathi umuntu hayi ngisazohlela intwaso ngisazobona yeah, there will always be problems. Inkinga ngeke uzuyibalekele. Because that's another reason why abanye abantu uthola they have difficulty mase besemaphehlweni. The time idlozi seliyimisela ukuthi liyavuka yabo selifuna impande yalo selifuna ukudla kwalo yabo and you say no ngizobona in the next 6 months or ngizobona maybe in the next year or so, unless uzo la leyo nto where it can work uncenga kwabantu abadala ukuthi can they give you 2 years, or they can give you until the school, is when you sincengela abantwana, sincengela iy'ngane zesikole ngoba like me personally, I don't like the idea of ingane esencane ithwasa. Obviously if abantu abadala benqaba because siyacela ukuthi mabambezelele umntwana akwazi ukuthi aqede isikole yabo before athwasa, susuke sicela, kodwa meke ukuthi bayanqaba futhi bathi no, simdinga manje phehlweni, there's nothing I can do about it. Uyabo, we have full grown adults. Umuntu athi I know ngizobona in 6 months, or ngizobona in 2 years, or ngizobona mase ngi-right emalini, or ngizobona. If ancestors want what they want, they make a way. Mina, I tell, like I've told my story. I think I've done it on YouTube. Ngithi mina ngingena ephehlweni nga umana bangihlanganisela imali yokukhokhela ugobela inkomo yakhe ukuze ngikwazi ukuthi ngingene ephehlweni. Imali zenkukhu kwakufanele ukuthi ngihlanganise mina imali zenkukhu. Into zeladi ke my mom and my dad nami ke sonke sahlangana ke for into zeladi nanani ngakhona ukuthi ke ngingumise kumsebenzi. Uyabo, ngingena mina egobongweni, I didn't even have my own underwear. Ngangigqoka ipaint engangiliphiwe uma, amapaint engangiwathengele uma. Uyabo, I didn't even have money to buy myself underwear. Ngingene ephehlweni ekhaya balazi khona ibhluke nje angazi nothi ladukaphi, a tracksuit pants engangiyigqoka because I no longer had clothes, of which leyo tracksuit pants ngangiyiphiwe uma. I didn't even have clothes. Ukuthi ingubo zami zoshona Barcelona ngeke ngisikutshele ngoba futhi ezinye ke zangishiya. Uyabo, I gained so much weight when I was sick. Wazi wahleka uma wathi mina ngaphi ukugula kahle because mengigula nginciphi kunalokho ngiyakhuluphala. Uyabo, I was gaining weight, so a lot of my clothes ezazikhona ke zangangilingani. Ezinye I don't even know what happened to them. I didn't have anything ngingene ephehlweni. Yabo, uma futhi ke waba straight nami Lalela mntanami anginayo imali yentwaso mina. So njengoba sikusiza ukuthi ungene entwaseni, wena enza sure ukuthi uphehle every day ubatshela ukuthi awunamali. Njengokuthwasa awazi nokuthi uzophothula ngani, awazi nokuthi inkukhu uzoyithenga ngani, awunalutho ngoba nami anginalutho. Uyabo, but kwahlangana imali yokuthi ngiphothule, yahlangana imali yokuthi ngithenge into zongibathisa ugobela, kwahlangana ubaba ke uyena ongithengela imbuzi, so my dad bought imbuzi yami ukuthi ngikwazi ukuphothula. Uyabo, that's ngaphothula njalo kwavele kwahlangana. After ngiqeda igobongo ke the rest of the process my ancestors ke babebukisa nje because they made sure ukuthi imali for each and everything that I needed for my initiation ukuthi hey fusekwena ukuthi izoba khona. So my ancestors showed up for me because the time sekuvela ke caca ukuthi okay, now I understand everything that was happening to me. Now I understand the communication. Now I see all the dreams, what they meant. Now everything is sengayibona. Uyabo, I made sure ukuthi the moment I realized what I am and what I need to do, that I give myself wholeheartedly and I'll figure it out. Uyabo, so the time ngithwasa mina, the time bevumile vele ukuthi it's fine ke ngoba ke sesivuke kabusha usuyathwasa wavuma nanani and so forth. Yonke into yami nje yeyiqaqekela ibonakaliso zeziqaqekela ukuhlola ngangigijima nabo abantu ngigijima nabo ngibahlola. I've had people kwamina I've had amathwasa ithwasa moluthi hlola alikhona ukuhlola. Hawuthwasa phela umntwana ke fine awuhlolanga ke uma wakho ukutshela ukuthi udinga ini, ithwasa alikhona ukungitshela ukuthi yini fanele lasho ngayo, alikhona ukungitshela ukuthi udingani, alikhona ukungitshela lutho nje ku blank. Yini umuntu uyitshela ukuthi hayi I'll wait 5 years, I'll wait 3 years. Thwasa idlozi livuka uthwase
lisashisa ney'nkulumo zalo,
Yes.
lisashisa futhi ngey'bonakaliso, lisanomusa kahle kahle. Yabo. Lisanomusa, lisavume konke. La musuyothwasa-ke la selikufathele khona-ke kwalona selithi hayi asazi uzophela lapho nathi sobona. Nawe-ke usuyasukuma-ke manje ngoba nasekuvaleke yonke into usuyahamba usuyongena ephehlweni kuthiwa hayi kumele uthwase nawe uthwase kanti ngempela unayo intwaso.
Now this is a conversation for those abanayo intwaso.
Wabantu abanayo intwaso. Idlozi lakho lizohamba kancane. Angeke likuhlangabeze ngalosuku ofike ngale ntwaseni. Angeke likuhlangabeze ngomphuthula wakho wokuqala la usuphothula khona ibo. Noma-ke leso stage leso ozobe usiphothula akasazi ukuthi uzobe uthwasana.
Lizofika only to show you izinto oyidingayo for umphothulo, not anything else.
Ukutshengisa izibuzo oyidingayo, ukutshengisa amabhayi nakho konke okunye okudingayo, bye futhi emva kwalokho.
Uyashaya amaphupho dololo in dololo kuthule nje.
Akhala umuntu athi hey azi bengabe ngiphupha ngingangena entwaseni manje sengihele entwaseni angisaboni lutho njena sekuze kuphela inyanga ngakaphuphi lutho angazi kwenzakalani. Nawe ngingazelo-ke mawuthi nawe omunye wabo-ke omunye okade ebe namaphupho njalo ey'bonakaliso ey'chazayo-ke lezo zimo lezo ezizichazayo kodwa manje awusaphuphi awusaboni lutho
ngoba ufuna ungena entwaseni ngoba sikuthanda inhliziyo yakho instead of ungena entwaseni ngoba kuthanda bona, because uma entwaseni awuyi you are being called, ubiziwe. Wena usabela ubizwa, ufuna ukusabela ngoba sekuthanda inhliziyo yakho.
Hayi ngoba ithanda funa inhliziyo ngoba
usuphoqelekile. Yes, awusabeli ngoba kuthanda inhliziyo yakho, usabela ngoba uphoqelekile. That's not answering the call. And so now you are calling them every day, masusu sephehlweni, and they're not answering you. They're not answering you because bakhathele. Dala bekubiza ubaziba, dala bekubiza belinde uthi uzosabela. What is that song? Sabela uyabizwa.
Sabe, uthini? Sabela uyabizwa. Uthini ngoma? Uyabizwa igama lakho sabela.
Uyabizwa, sabela uyabizwa, sabela uyabizwa.
Somebody's calling my name.
Somebody's calling. Somebody's calling. Somebody's calling my name. Yeah, sabela uyabizwa, sabela uyabizwa, sabela uyabizwa. Awusabeli mubizwa. Unosabela ngokuthanda inhliziyo yakho. Ithini umntwana lapho? Sikhalisile. Andabhale.
The scary part, Coco, is probably you are the only one in the family who inherits the gift. After years and years, to the point that even the elder in the family does not know your guide.
Okay. Makhoba. The scary part, Gogo, is that Toluguti, you're the only one in the family who inherits the gift after years and years, to the point where that even the current elder in the family does not know your guide. Your guide is your guide.
I think because of what say.
Explain what you mean, because for me it's like, okay, my great-grandmother was the last Sangoma in my direct lineage, because the other side of my grand's family, they are Sangomas there. But in my direct lineage, my grandmother's sister Watwas, and from what I've heard, I plan on going KwaMaphumulo. From what I've heard, because that's where my grand's family is from, KwaMaphumulo. From what I heard is that other, like her cousins or her uncle or whatever in that side of the family, they banabo izangoma, uyabo. But my direct lineage, so my direct lineage is my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, and so forth, right? So for my direct lineage, my great-grandmother was a Losangoma. My grandmother did not initiate, azange thwase ukhulu wami, but her sister initiated. But my grandmother didn't initiate. My mother didn't initiate. Then there's me. So I'm 2 generations down. Ne? My mother didn't initiate, my grandmother didn't initiate, right? On my grandfather's side, my great grandfather was the last inyanga because bengasoni sangoma beyinyanga yena. Hence why also I carry ikhwama zomnyanga. Because also even on my father's side, kababu wami ngamakhanya bebe izinyanga as well. So my grandfather, my mom's dad, azanga zabinyanga. My great grandfather was the last inyanga on my direct lineage, right? My grandfather azanga zabinyanga. None of my uncles by izinyanga. My mommy ayikinda ayenzile on that side either. Then you go to my father's side. My father's side, I don't have great knowledge of it, but the little that I do know, my grandfather, Ubelapa, I don't understand at what capacity. I don't know whether Benyanga or Bengoma, but I know he was a healer. My father also had a calling, but Ubeno Bizolupinyanga nai. Benga Bizelong Gubi Sangom. So I'm gonna assume based on my father, my grandfather Benyanga. And my grandfather, my father didn't take up the calling. He tried, but ubehlangana nabantu abamsebenzayo abaganga ngaye and so forth. So wagcina ubizo lwakhe engaliphendulanga. So I'm the first generation after 2 generations of not doing izinto. Luckily for me, my mom already had vast knowledge of ubungoma basekhaya, ubnyanga basekhaya. So she had a lot of knowledge regarding that, which is just a blessing on my side. So I knew I wasn't flying in blind. Uyabo. Mekubuza ukuthi lento ngiyithatha phi, kuyazi ukuthi ngiyithatha phi because my grandmother's side of the family has it, which is my mother's side of the family. My grandfather's side of the family has it. My birth father's side of the family has it. In their corn. But you do find people where 5 generations, 6 generations, sometimes even 10 generations, ubizo labo bengal pagamil. Then you have umuntu 10 generations down or 5 generations down, once all that knowledge is lost, right? Then kube khona umntwana we limgobhoza idlozi lithi asinyakaze sifuna ukuthi umntwana aphakamise ubizo lwakhe. So we demand that this child fulfill their calling. Uyabo? Okay, what I mean, Gogo, is that the current elder does not know ukuthi somewhere along the years there was a person in the family that was gifted. Yeah, so okay. So sometimes people lose that knowledge because no one practices anymore, no one's interested, no one really speaks about it. It's almost like a hidden secret. Uyabo?
So mhlambe esangokugcina emndenini sashona ngo1820.
Uyayibona lento le, and everybody just denied their calling. Abanye do even worse than that, because they go and hide under the church. So benza izinto ngoba usithunywa. So idlozi liyeke lithule, and then it gets to one child where they're like, you know what, we're not having it. We're not going to have this child hiding under the church. We're not going to have this child hiding under unyakaza ngesithunywa. Of which that is something my grandmother did. Waxasha under ubuthunywa. Besonta. Ubesonta. By the time it got to me, fuck off, we're not playing this game. Uzotwasa ke wena ke come hello high water. Organ iphuma umphefumulo. With me, it wasn't even a choice. It was a matter of life or death. Uyabo. Kwangekho ukubaleka. I knew my mom ran away, my grandmother ran away. They all hide behind isondo. With me, I didn't have that option. It was, we're taking you. If they didn't take me, because vele besengizele ingane, they were gonna make sure my kids suffer. So there wasn't much of an option for me. And even if they gave me an option, because I had already seen the light, anyway, without them threatening me so much at the level they were threatening me at. So there's that one child, because they're so special. Mind you, especially when a child, like myself, for example, my direct lineage is very heavy in Moyin. My grandmother, by Sangoma. My mom is supposed to be Sangoma and Istunwa. I'm supposed to be Sangoma and Istunwa. My birth father, unemimoy. My grandfather, unemimoy. My grandfather, my mother's side, unemimoy. Like everybody that contributes to the existence that I am in, that this is me as Thandi. Everybody was ancestrally gifted. It wasn't ukuthi bebenabantu abadala. Like there's no one in my direct lineage ukuthi hayi unabantu abadala lona. No, it was each and every person in my direct bloodline had a calling. So akukubaleka. So there are kids like that where from their parents, both grandparents have ubizo, both great-grandparents have ubizo, and so forth and so forth. And then their father's side of the family, it's the same cycle. So that child is so engulfed in imimoya that there's no other option but to ingane ngempela ithwasi. So whether somebody knows your guide or not, or knows ukuthi there was and it doesn't matter. The truth of the matter is, or the bottom line of it all, is that ayiqala ngawe. Akekho umuntu ozobe isangoma ukuthi iqala ngaye lento, or uzobe inyanga iqala ngaye lento, or uzobe umprofeti iqala ngaye lento. It doesn't work like that. It's like you don't just become a king. You have to come from a royal bloodline. Whether it was your uncle was a king, or your great-grandfather was a king, or whatever the case may be. And because that means you carry the bloodline of Ubkosi. You don't just wake up and be like, okay, I'm going to be king today. I'm going to be king Wamazulu, or I'm going to be king Wamakhosi, or I'm going to be king Wamavenda. It doesn't work like that. Yabo. Yabo. So it's just a matter of, if ngampela everything within you, all your dreams, all your visions point to the fact that unentwaso, then that's what you need to do. You don't have to be hyped ukuthi hayi ngoba hayi vele into yasekhaya, because into ingabe into yasekhaya, but it's not for you. You can come from a line of izangoma, but it doesn't mean that you're meant to be sangoma. You can come from a line of inyanga. It doesn't mean that you're meant to be inyanga. So whether you come from the bloodline or not, either side doesn't carry weight. It's about whether you are called or not. Because you have people where the great-grandmother was, or the great-grandfather was a sangoma, but it skipped a generation. There was no one worthy to be called. But they didn't have izidlozi. For the mere fact that they come from the bloodline of izangoma or inyang, but they didn't have the calling. It skipped that generation, but they didn't find anyone fit to carry the gift. Then they were like, no, get generation etile, there's a child that's going to be born and they're going to do this. Because in some families, abancane ukuthi like let's say I have 5 kids, all 5 of my kids zibe zango, all 5 of them. You have bloodlines like that where, like in one particular family, every single child in that family is going to be a healer. You're not going to heal the same things. You're not going to deal with the same things, but nizotwasa nonke. You have bloodlines like that. When I was I remember I went to one of my clients' venues, and it was a restaurant, very high-end restaurant, and I remember there's this guy that was a waiter there. Oh, I loved him so much. He had the spirit in there that drew me in, and I was like, and so I called him one day. I'm like, yeah, like, you know, like what's going on? Like, because Umam is very drawn to you, and like when I come here and you're not here, like I'm very dispirited, like or something, like, you know, like how I expect to see you when I come. Like I'm very drawn to you, and in good time, man, like you're working with some type of peoples. And then he laughs and he says to me, no, man, Yazin, when I'm cool. Wait, you're referring to me the right way? You even know what I'm cool. Now tell me what's going on. That's how I know. My mom is Sangoma, and my mom's sisters, they are also Sangoma. That's how many sisters does your mom have? She has 5 sisters. So Umaaka Ubeu number 6. So 6 women in his family, and they all Sangomas. Imaya imandla again. But you don't have the calling, but Imaya is strong. He's like, yeah, no, everybody is a Sangoma. Like all my aunts are Sangomas. So kunabantu abakanjalo. But he knows he doesn't have a calling, even though he comes from. But he can have children, and all his kids have ubis. So I hope that answers your question. At the end of the day, it's not about another person. It's about you and what it wants. And if it wants to twasa, hi, mzalwane wam, hi, kehlalam, or gogo, mdomdal, come back on. Because people waiting 10 years, waiting 5 years, also figure and then when the doesn't fulfill what you're waiting for it to fulfill, then no, you played yourself. By not listening. Vusa izlozi when it's saying vuga now. Uvusidlos like him. It's not easier, but
no, like yeah, but easier. As to compare to Muntu over Ziba.
Yeah, but yeah, if you're comparing to Muntu that Ziba, then yes, it's easier. But
easier. Like,
yeah.
Kona fluidity enzakalayo entweni zakho.
Yeah, flow.
Yeah. Izinto zakho nje zihamba ngomumo. Mangabe kumele uphothule uyaphothula, even though uphothula ke kuhlezi kunzima.
Yeah. Uhlezi ukuphothula nje kunama-shenanigans zakhona.
Hlezi kushort izinto. Sikhuluma from experience.
Yeah, because you can't budget for into so kosha.
Sikhuluma from experience. Tena okay, ngomphothula wami lokugcina nje siphothula inkomo.
Yeah.
Yonke into
was budgeted for.
Sasiplanile, sayibhala phansi ukuthi uzobe malini sahamba sawo.
So check, yes, we checked all the financials.
Sabuza utshwala, sabuza izimbuzi, sabuza inkomo, macansi inani. Yonke into ayidingakala sahamba sayibuza sayibhala phansi. Okay ke nanto usuku selifikile ke namhlanje out of the blue nje short to 5,000.
Shut up.
Yabo.
Yeah.
Short to 5,000 out of the blue. Awazi 5,000 lona uthi uqhamuke kephi nini. Ikephi la overspend ekhona, ikephi la
Because we didn't spend any money.
Mawusubuyele emuva futhi ebhukwini lakho la ubhale phansi khona zonke izinto nokuthi imalini. Yonke into futhi isasho the same amount. Lo 5,000 lo awazi uqhamukaphi.
Yeah.
Yabo. Kodwa very short. Yabo. So into esizama ukusho ukuthi ungayibeka imali ngale ndlela ozoyibeka ngayo, kodwa ngiyakugarantela mina ukuthi khona lokho okuzoshoda.
Yeah.
Khona imali lena ezoshoda edingakalayo ukuthi nje uyisebenzele kanzima.
Budgetela into zedlozi.
Angekwazi nje futhi ukuthi uyibudgetele edlozi. Mawuthi khona nje wathi mina ngabe 20,000 nje mina ngathwasa ngaqeda ngawo. Ngeke ngicela usendele WhatsApp bani.
Sithumela phela wena wathi wabudget 50,000 and everything went well within that 50,000. Xoxa nami ungichazele because nami everything was budgeted nami ngiphothule nje those many years ago. Yonke into yami budget bazalwana angishodanga kanje. Angishodanga kanje. To the point where I had a client, I think they were still owing me like 8,000 that needed to be paid. And it was meant to be paid after their clients had paid. Because mina being subcontractor. Yeah, so bangikhokhela yonke imali yami yayifika up front, and then it's only for the last portion of umsebenzi ukuthi I know ibalance ngizoyithola ke mase nabo sebekhokheliwe isamba. Mengase ngikutshela ukuthi iclient ke vele lalazi ukuthi hayi ngiyathwasa nanani ngoba mina my clients we develop a very good relationship. Yabo. We develop a good relationship, so ngiyaxoxa nama client ami hayi ngantshela ngathi lalela ke we so and so as ukuthi ke ngiyaphothula ngiyashoda ngicela ukuthi unginelo 8,000 wami. Wahleka ngathi hayibo, what do you need 8,000 right now for, because you know the client hasn't paid. Ngathi mina ngeke ngishodelwa for inkomo yami. Wathi oh, you slaughtering beef? I know I'm slaughtering beef, bro. Like, and the plan, wang iwalethela 4,000. What unfortunately, because unike mali yakhe, the other 4,000 ngizomele ngilinde January, yabo, baze bakhokhe. So wang iwalethela ku 4,000. Futhi nakhona last minute, wang iwalethela last minute lo 4,000. Ngisashoda njalo. Ngehlahla leyo ke ushabalala ke wayesasebenza ke. At the time, and kwinkampani la de yisebenzela, you guys hadn't bonused in how long?
2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years inga bonus ngo December. If I can tell you ukuthi wavele wangenelwa ibonus wayitransfer yonke la bonus ngimina ke kwamana ke ngihambe ngiyolanda inkomo yami, and then kwavela futhi ukuthi angazi kwakushoda ini, angisazi kwakushodani, but kwakuyinto ye-1,000. My mom's best friend.
Oh, or something. Like quite a better nje kodwa.
I want with the vele. Go the it needed like 1,000 rand. So ngacela ke my mom's best friend was like my second mom. Anthembi ke, and she wangithathela ke from her husband wangithathela 1,000 wanginika wangithathela ke 1,000 ke ngayolanda edrobheni. Hayi ngaye edrobheni ke imina ngathi nguhlanga, and you know mophothula ngathi uhanjelwe ingqondo. And here I am, I bump into somebody I went to high school with. Uyacabanga ke, I'm bumping into somebody I went to high school with. Bangibona ngiyaphariza ngihamba ngenyawo in town. I'm like, listen, I can't have a conversation right now with you like ngiyaphuthuma. Lapho ngiphuma igazi enyaweni ngimesi nje ngimele ngathola le 1000 ke ngathenga ke lezi zinto eyishodayo ngaphothula yabo abudgetela nje into zedlozi, you can't budget for it. Ungabudgetela ukulashwa ngeke ubudgetela into zentwaso. Ukulashwa is the only thing you can budget for, because even noma kuthiwa kuyavela okunye ukuthi hayi fanele wenze ukuthi, but at least like into evela noma kuthiwa ivela last minute, like with me I've had people where sibukile ukuthi hayi bazohlambulula olwandle siyenza ukuthi olwandle, and then when they there esigodlweni kuvela ukuthi hayi no before bangena olwandle abangene mhlawumbe for example esibeni bahlambulule into ethile, and then ke bese bangena olwandle. Ngimtshele mina umuntu ukulalela khipha imali yenkukhu sihambe soyithenga inkukhu yalo yonto, and then le mali if unayo ngicela uyikhiphe manje, but uma kuthi unganayo ke uzongikhokhela after, uyabo. Then umuntu ke mase kuphela inyanga nginikeke mina, I do that for people, uyabo. Umuntu ke ngoba into evele esesesigodlweni ke sekufanele siye emanzini, ngeza ukuthi umoya sekufanele siye emanzini ke ivele manje siphahla, uyabo. But no, change 1, 2 and 3, and then we change it, and then ngiyamtshela ukuthi hayi uzonginika after imali yakhona, it's fine uma kuthi unayo right now, yabo. Izinto ke ezenzakalayo ke lezo ke, but at least uma ulashwa ke it's fine. Edlozini hayi akho budget, so idlozi uma livuka lihlangabeze lisavuka khona indlela zakho zizohlahleka kahle.
And kuba khona nokushesha ke futhi phakathi.
Yeah,
Even though akusheshi ngendlela leyo ocabanga ngayo, but kuba khona nakho like ukuphuthuma kwabo abantu abadala ukuthi umntwana nangu eseyivuma indlela yethu noma eselivuma uhambo lwethu asimenzeleni angazoshintsha umqondo. Yeah.
yakuhlangabeza nje idlozi. But I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
Sibonge ukuba nani again. I know ukuthi this video is very, very long. I hope ukuthi nizocaciseka into eningi, but bazalwane ngicela ngempela nilungise izinto zenu, ningaphuthumi ukuya kwinto zabelungu. Anishintshe nje indlela eniyathela ngayo, yabo. If it's a problem for doctors, I always tell people into ethile mhlawumbe ade sihlola ke ngithi hayi into ethile hambe kudokotela ke yokusiza, yabo. Uzokusiza. But this particular problem yesintu, so sizoyilungisa kwesintu, yabo. It's not to dismiss ukuthi hayi mawaphatha umkhuhlane ke for 3 months usuphuthuma kumlaphi. No, it's not to say those things. We are dealing with izinto like problems that are spiritually based, that are izibonakalisweni, because even it's full back, even asithi wena uzwe ngathi umkhuhlane, but akuwona umkhuhlane, because amaphupho akhe ayakutshela ukuthi yabo lento lokuyenzeka kuwena esifubeni, it's because of this and this and this. Bese uyasukuma usuyazi ke manje uthi hayi lo akuwona umkhuhlane, into eceshe ngathi umkhuhlane, so ngizoyilungisa kumlaphi, uyabo. Because the signs are there when things are traditional, and the signs are there when things are just medical and they need medical attention. But your first reference shouldn't always be ukuthi I'm gonna go see a specialist. Specialist to have keep 10,000 napayan, keep 15,000 depending what the problem is. Nandinkinga ilalela. I've had 4 people have major surgeries. Abafika ngini have major surgeries. Ngenxa yezinto that were hiding behind umuntu engathi medical kanti kahle kahle it was bekuyisinto. An example, is it 4 or is it 5? But labe ngibakhumbulayo, I had 2 people, was it no, was nalwasisi was say okay. 3 people had ibeletho zabo removed, right? They had their wombs removed, so they had a hysterectomy, yabo. try they finding angazi in esibelethweni, so ba remove isibeletho. One of those 3 people was in their 20s. Uyacabanga ukuthi lo muntu ngeke asakwazi ukuthwala ingane because they removed isibeletho because they said it was a medical thing. Meanwhile, bekuyinkinga yesintu. Wa remove isibeletho ke. Mina laba abanye at least they were like well in their 40s and 50s, so it was fine. Yabo, because ngiyasazala, uyabo. But lo inhliziyo yami ayibuhlungu ngaye because they were in their 20s, and the worst part about it is that this lady was in her 20s. She had wakhipha isisu, so waba ne-abortion of the only child she's now ever gonna have. So naye usebuhlungu ukuthi wakhipha isisu somntwana, and now she'll never be able to carry a child. Yabo, because wakhipha isibeletho. Ngento owayengayilungisa traditionally. The other 2, it's fine. They were in their 40s, 50s, so it's fine. But 3 people removed ibeletho zabo. The other 2 were cancer patients, right? Of which it's like, okay, ngiyeza ukuthi cancer kuthiwa iyabuya, but njalo wena uhlala ube ne-cancer. Maybe it's a cancer, what, it's a cancer, what. Like, i-cancer yakhe ayipheli nje. Like every few years, futhi not even few years, because I remember lo yedwa waba ne-treatment 3 years kushiyana. So this year she had treatment ya cancer, the following year waba ne-treatment ya cancer, and then the following year waba ne-treatment ya cancer. So they had body parts removed ngenxa ya cancer nje engasuki. Ezinye izinto, yes, you can have cancer, you can have all these major issues, but you had dreams prior to even having that, because even ngathi uscheduleke leyo surgery leyo usuyowenzake le body part removal, kwaba nenkinga nje i-specialist is gone on leave, lo fanenze leyo nto, hayi kunenkinga ukuthi hayi i-medical aid angazi inenkinga kanjani. You have all these problems that are saying, stop the lorry, don't go do that procedure. Okay, gcine sekulungileke uyenzeke procedure. Kanti into bilele kwesinto, abazalwane ngicela siphaphame 2024 manje. Asiphaphame. Yabo. Yes, there are going to be issues that need medical attention. Asingababalekisa abantu sithi ningayi kodokotela. No, iyani, but ezinye izinto zibheke as well. Especially as look as zisudokotela ulokhu transfer wena kuthiwa hayi no, go to this specialist. Ufele specialist nakutshela enye into, and then naye transfer to another specialist. Naleyo specialist nje iyakusuzela nje iyakubhedela. Uyabo? Acace. Qaphela bazalwane, there are always signs saying ukuthi yabo. Yabo. Nokuphuphumisa wengane ulokhu uphuphuma ingane. I've lost children, so I know the heartbreak of it. Yabo. Ezinye izinto fanele uzibheke kwisinto ukuthi kwenzakalani. But I hope ukuthi kucacile. I hope abantu bazovuleka amehlo. Kukhanye kube kuhle kube mhlophe kuleyo ndawo eMakhosini.